welcome back to another video with us on Thursday of all things. I'm Christopher Brandon with the Coeur d'Alene Public Library and the Cooperative Information Network.
And I'm George Williams. I'm the Next Search Catalog Coordinator at Northeast Kansas Library System. And so there's been a lot of changes in Koha coming up, or the developers have been doing a lot of things to get the notices and slips fully into Template Toolkit. For a long time, Koha is used as the, to generate messages, to generate notices in Koha. It's been what they call the hungry alligator syntax, where you've got double brackets around something and then you pull from different database fields. But for a while now, the community's been moving towards Template Toolkit, and it looks like by the time 2405 comes out that notices and slips, the default notices and slips in Koha when you do a new installation will be 100% in Template Toolkit. And so there's still things that we're learning about. And so there are a couple of, and there's also this new feature where you will be able to create a report template in the notices and slips tool in Koha, and then you will be able to use Template Toolkit to grab data from a report and then turn that into different types of content, but including Template Toolkit stuff. So when we first looked at this, a couple of people said, well, I don't know how to get a date. Like I want to put today's date into one of these report templates.
Yes,
Christopher's one of those. And or I want to put the name of the library that I'm standing in where I'm generating this thing into the report. And so
I was noticing, I was trying to figure this out myself because I'm just starting to get into the report templates, which I love. Huge step forward for Koha. But I was trying to use some of the techniques I've used before in other Template Toolkit instances, and I was using, I know that Template Toolkit references are slightly different than the hungry alligator references. In fact, all of the, if you're doing a template for a report, I couldn't use the stuff that was off to the side that normally is the hungry alligator stuff. I don't know if that's working or not, but I was trying branch name for the branch name. That didn't work. I tried branch name. That didn't work. So I'm excited to see what you've done. I've also did the Template Toolkit examples that I've had before of today's date. That wasn't working. I was just kind of beating my head against the wall trying to figure this out. So I'm grateful that you figured this out.
Well, I did the same thing you did, essentially. The first thing I'll point out here is
this video is sponsored by koha-US, your place to look for all things Koha. Whether you're just starting out with Koha or you've been with Koha for a while, koha-US is a great place to find resources, learn new tips and techniques, or connect with other users and libraries. Koha-US provides excellent information, both original and curated from around the internet, including the terrific Every Other Day training videos. You will also find several special interest groups to connect with, as well as our general monthly meeting where we gather to talk about the latest Koha news. You should also check out the Koha-US annual conference, held at various locations around the US. This is a great opportunity to meet with other users face-to-face, and build your Koha network, as well as new friendships. And of course, don't forget about the great presentations. Koha-US is also actively involved in the Koha community by contributing towards new developments. If you are interested in contributing towards Koha-US funded developments, join the Koha-US membership. Your annual membership builds the funds to sponsor new developments in the community, and as a member, you also help shape Koha-US with your membership votes, and receive a discount on the annual conference. You can also contribute towards developments through a direct donation, or by purchasing some great Koha-US merchandise through our Threadless account. Visit us at koha-us.org to find out more.
if you're at the Koha Wiki, there is, if you do a search for notices and slips library, there is a library of notices and slips, and this is a great place to steal ideas from.
Yeah.
And there are, I recently added, this single page used to be a lot bigger because it had a lot of the default notices were included in this page. And so what I did is the first thing I did is I made sure that there was a library of all the default notices and slips from 2211, 2305, and 2311. So the current version and the past couple of versions. And if you go to one of these, this will have all 100% of the notices as they are loaded into Koha when you do a new Koha install. And so there's a lot of great ideas that you can come here and look and see how these notices that were created by the developers to go into a default Koha installation. You can go there and you can see how they did it. A lot of these are still they still have the hungry alligator syntax, but it looks like the community has gotten behind this idea of pushing everything towards Template Toolkit. And so, like I said, I think by 2405, if not 2405, probably definitely by 2411, 100% of the default notices in Koha in a new installation will be in the Template Toolkit format. And Template
I know that in our 2023 conference, you and I made a big stink about it.
Yeah, we mentioned, well, the things that we talked about at our presentation at the conference, the koha-US conference in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. The thing that we talked about is that, I think moving towards Template Toolkit's a great idea, but the one thing that library users are really lacking is good documentation for how to do this kind of stuff, which is why we're coming here to see what exists so that we
especially since it seems like, I don't know. I know this is true for some of the hungry alligator stuff. I think it's true for some of the Template Toolkit, but it seemed to vary from notice to notice.
Yes, it depended on which notice you were using, whether or not you could even use Template Toolkit. Most of the notices you could. A lot of the notices you can't, especially the newer notices created since ever since I think the first one that you couldn't use the hungry alligators in was the automatic renewal notices. When automatic renewal was a new thing, they would not use the hungry alligator syntax at all. It was 100% not usable in those. So the community is getting behind this idea of pushing everything to Template Toolkit and then depreciating over time, getting rid of the hungry alligator syntax altogether. They're not going to do it all at once. It's not going to be turned off and all your notices are going to break one day. But eventually there's going to be a move towards ending those hungry alligator notices. So
I can't remember if you mentioned it, but if you wanted to follow the work that's being done on that, that was bug 15278.
Right.
And yeah, they've been just plowing through a bunch of stuff this year, and Emily has just been going gangbusters. She has contributed a ton to this.
Right.
So kudos to Emily for the work that she has taken on.
Yeah, and there's still work to be done. All of these depends on bugs that are still open, need to be worked out. But there's a lot of good work going on. So now it's time to learn how to do some of these things. So the two things that we talked about were Christopher was trying to figure out how to put into a report template. Here it is. How to get today's date. So the first thing you have to do when you want to add something like a date to the report, you need to make sure that the report or the template is calling up the date plugin. And for the type of thing that we're doing here, where we just want today's date in there, all you have to do is use date. And so that calls up the plugin. And then you can insert this date format, date now, and then you can put it in a couple of different formats. The format type You know, I hate all of these date formats are in different, you know, different programs use different ways of formatting a date. So there is, and I'll give this to Christopher, there's a good list of what the different date codes mean
Yeah,
on this Perl site that I go to from time to time, Tutorials Point. Is a good one I know of that you can go through, and this will show you all the different things you can do to stick a date into something and to get it formatted the way you want it to.
awesome.
So, but I've got a couple of examples here. This %y dash percent small m dash percent small d gets you the date in the format of year, month, day. This one down here is month, day, year with slashes. And so that's the
Traditional
way,
US format, yeah.
the traditional United States format, yeah. For getting the branch code, to get the branch code of the branch you're logged in at, you need to first call up the branches plugin. And you do that by saying use branches and wrap that in the Template Toolkit identifier. And then you have to say branches, get logged in branch name. We could also do, another thing we could do is do branches, get logged in branch. I think it's code. So I'm just going to save those. And here's the report that I'm getting this data from. I have this report that I'm working on that I'm starting with, and I'm just kind of playing with the template that I'm building for that. But if I run this report with that template, these are the results. I've got the date in that first format, and then I've got the date in the standard US format. And get branch name gives you the branch name of the library you're logged in at now.
Nice.
I suppose if I flip over to like Bonner Springs, then it'll tell me I'm at Bonner Springs Library. And it'll also, and that second one that I showed gives the branch code. So those are just a couple of things that, you know, to answer a couple of questions that were for an immediate need. Those are some basics, but there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of good information to learn from on the Koha Community Wiki, the Notices and Slips Library. Now, this will also give me a chance to put in a plug for this. The Notices and Slips Library was originally designed as a place where people could upload their notices so that other people could look at them and get ideas and maybe copy notices from one another. And of all the notices that have been uploaded to the Notices and Slips Library, they're all circulation related. So we've got a library it's like having a library where the Dewey Decimal System, all the zeros, all the 100s, all the 200s are empty. And then there's like a ton of stuff in the 400s, and then 500 and 900s, it's empty shelves. So if you have a good acquisitions notice that you use, or a good acquisition slip, or some good hold slips, or point of sale slips that you use that you've customized for your library, you know, get on the wiki and post those. And in the future, we will be doing soon, hopefully really soon, we're going to do a video on how to use the wiki better. So we need to plan for that, and maybe that'll be the next one.
Okay.
Need to coordinate that with the person that's going to guest star.
And if you want to learn more about the templates for reports, Bywater's Monday Minutes, they just dropped a video prior to this. So at the beginning of, was it this week, April, for April?
Yeah, I think it was the, I guess my calendar still says March. I don't know when it was.
Well, if it came out this Monday, it was April 1st.
Ah,
no fooling. So you can watch that video. I'll also, the past couple of meetings, which I always miss the beginnings of, because of things here at work, but I drop in later, and Jason's just in the middle of talking about it. I can't remember if it was the consortia SIG, or was it the system? I don't know if it's the system admin SIG or the consortia SIG or the
I think
web
it was the
development.
consortia one.
or it
Was
might
the
have
most
been web
recent one.
development. I'm not sure, but Jason, the last 2 meetings, Jason has demonstrated some stuff that he's been doing with templates. Phenomenal looking stuff. He's doing some amazing work with that, and just taking off with it. And I'm excited about these templates. So
I think I was originally, when Jason was showing that off, I said, we got to get him on a video to show this off, but he's going to do a whole presentation. He's planning on doing a whole presentation at the Koha-US conference in August. So,
yep, I saw that. It inspired me. I've been playing with stuff, replaced an access report, which is awesome. So we don't have that dependency on that, or ODBC connector. So it's just opened up the doors for better reporting. I'm looking forward to tweaking those reports even more.
Getting the output of a report in something other than a table is awesome.
Yeah. A few things that since I've played with this, I have put in a few bugs, for the next step for these templates,
Yeah.
One being that if you want a report to come out in that format, you have to run the report in general and then go up and tell it to run it through a specific template. So you have to know which template to run it through. There's no way to indicate, I want this report to run with this template, unfortunately. There's also no way to, if you have parameters that you're asking for in the report, you can't grab the URL. You can grab the URL of that finished formatted report through the template. You can grab that and run that, straight from that URL, but it's always going to have those parameters. If you have a report that requires you to input parameters, you really can't do a lot with that. Although, I'm showing you this. I'm going to show you this real quick.
All right.
Sorry, I'm going to hijack this real quick. I just messed with this. I can't run the report because it's going to show information, but yeah, I've been tweaking some things here. Let's see here. Let me get the right place here. So in past, we've hijacked this holds queue. If we run this holds queue, it's actually running a report because we have some more information that we like in our holds queue than the built-in one. So that actually points to a report. But now I've added these two. And you'll notice that this button specifically says our library. If I were to change libraries, now it's going to format these for that. And basically it's going to plug in, it's pointing to a report through a template, but it is plugging in the code of that library. So that report is going to be specifically for that library. So it's basically grabbing the code from the logged in user code, and it's plugging it into the URL for this link and for the name, and it will bring up that template. But unfortunately, there are other parameters in there. So I had to create 2 buttons in this because on this, and I'm going to add a third one on this report, I can actually ask if you want to do just the adult collection, if you want to do just the children collection. So that's a parameter that it asks for, and it also gives you the option of just give me all of the holds queue.
Right.
So I'll add a third button that does that and gets that formatted for everything in there. So that's to come on that. But that was something that I played with. Yeah, it would be nice if you could tell a report, I want it to always come up in, up through this template and allow you to ask for parameters when running. But unfortunately, it's not there yet, but I could see that easily being something for the next step in these templates.
Cool. Those are all good ideas. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, George, for sharing the Template Toolkit coding. That's going to help me tremendously. I appreciate that.
I think at some point in the future, we'll probably have more to say about Template Toolkit. There's there's a lot going on, and it's really useful and really powerful. So
Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll see everybody again in 2 weeks. So until then,
see you later.
here.